What's going on, guys? Back with another video. So what we've seen in recent news is China basically slamming retaliatory tariffs on the US energy and vehicle sector, 10 to 15% tariffs. And again, this is in response to Trump with his trigger happy tariffs in place. Other news as well, we've got Trump planning to basically announce an additional 25% tariffs on steel and aluminium. And again, MicroStrategy continuing to buy hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. And again, he continues to it doesn't matter whatever the market condition, he believes in Bitcoin and continues to pretty much buy more. And other sort of very bullish news in relation to Japan, who are basically going to scrap the ban on Bitcoin ETFs and also cutting tax from 55% down to 20%. So very good news as well for crypto holders in Japan. Massive economy, and this is just a good step in the right direction in my opinion. So anyway, guys, in terms of we're just pretty much moving sideways. If you've got cash on the side, nothing wrong with DCing small amounts. Today I want to cover a new project, something which is around 2 weeks old, I believe, which is Cross Narrative. It's in the real world asset sector and also a layer one. And this project is called Plume Network. So this is a new project which have been making some, quite a lot of progress within this space. And I do think it's an interesting project. Now, is this project worth it, or is it all hype? I'm going to give my opinion on this project. I'm going to break down sort of different aspects of it and, just give you my honest opinion. Of course, none of this is financial advice. So you can see here, Plume Network, just under $200 million in market cap and pretty much, 20% in circulation. Max supply is 10 billion tokens. Volume is pretty good, 30, nearly 35 million in trading volume. And again, pretty much on the bottom. And again, pretty much every project is tanking. So to get Bybit, HTX, good listings so far. And you can see, the volume just from Bybit and HTX, nearly $10 million each. So good listings for a very fresh project. And again, this really does tell me that, they will get, big tier ones on board. So what exactly is Plume? So it's essentially public blockchain for RWA. Looks to basically, bridge the gap between real assets, DeFi, and bring these big institutes on board within crypto. So you can tokenize different real world assets. It includes commodities, real estate, anything you can pretty much think of. And what I like about this is already they've grown a pretty big ecosystem who are basically building on Plume and also partner with Plume. So you've got a variety of different sort of projects on here. Majority are within DeFi and RWA. And you've also got asset managers, you've got decentralized exchanges, you've got lending protocols for yield, and obviously the wallets as well. And also partnered with some good projects such as Bricken. You've got, I believe, Cpool, if I'm correct. And they've just got a big, to get 180 plus sort of partnerships is very good news in my opinion for such an early project. So very interesting. And another very good thing is you can see already they have over $4 billion in assets available, which is huge, and already nearly 20 million addresses already generated, 280 million transactions, and as I've said, 180 different projects who are building on Plume. So yeah, very interesting. You can see here as well the community, already 1 million plus followers on X. I wouldn't put too much emphasis on 1 million followers, but if they're authentic, then that is good news. Big Telegram, big Discord, and they've also got these NFTs that you can mint as well. 1 million different NFTs. So they've already got a lot of holders of these NFTs. So again, just a good way to sort of get attention to the project as well. People normally get bored with RWA. They think it's not really exciting, but this NFT touch is definitely something which I do like. I do think NFTs will become big again. So very interesting. Other things as well, you can see here, they've got sort of the wallets on board. This is the chain as well. And, just building, you can tell that they're serious about the development of this project. And You can see here as well, $20 million in funding to build a real world asset finance ecosystem. And for me, I just think overall it's a decent project. So other things you want to look at, guys, is of course you want to understand, what their sort of roadmap is, what do they want to do in regards to the future. So you can see here things that they've already achieved. As I've said, they've built a pretty big community, over 180 plus apps and protocols on the Plume ecosystem, which is really good for a project which is 2 weeks old. You can see here when their testnet campaign attracted nearly 4 million users and generated nearly 300 million transactions in the first 8 weeks of the testnet. Big partnerships as well, and something which definitely caught my eye was this sort of you could call it a partner with Ondo. I do know that Ondo are obviously going to launch their own chain, so some people were sort of concerned about how that would affect Plume, but I don't think it's going to be a major factor. I think they've already established themselves, Plume. They've got big sort of community already, and I think again just partnering with Ondo, even if it's for these sort of meetings or conferences, whatever you want to call it, is definitely a bullish factor. Ondo is going to be huge. They've got the biggest players on board, and Plume, if they can connect with them, if they can continue partnering with them in terms of these meetings and conferences, this is very good. So you can see here the Plume team came together with the largest financial institutes, friends and partners at the Ondo Summit to discuss the future. We were excited to see Ondo unveil their new vision of Wall Street 2.0 as it fits seamlessly with ours. Plume is Robinhood 2.0. We focus on our incredible community and build infrastructure and tools for them. So good news, and again, engagement is very healthy. These are obviously some of the NFTs, I believe. You can see here, more partnerships and, just growing a big overall community. You can see here, featured on the Binance wallet as well with their DApp integration for the Plume Hub. And also, I believe the team is also doxed on LinkedIn. I couldn't find anything on the website, but they are on LinkedIn, so you can come and have a look. Other interesting things, something which is really important, is what is the point of the Plume token, right? Because this is what we're investing into. So Plume token, some little concerns, or for some people it might be a big concern. In terms of the token allocation, you've got 21% for early backers, 13% for the foundation, and 20% for core contributors. So these 21% early backers are some big sort of funding venture capitalists. You've got big tier one backers such as Galaxy Ventures and Hashkey Capital, who have been involved in some other big projects, and they've also got some tier three capitalist venture capital firms on board as well. Galaxy Ventures are also very big. They've been behind some other big sort of launches as well, and you can see the likes of Polygon, AVAX. So some people see this as a negative, of course, in terms of them getting in early on the project and the potential for them to dump their tokens. If we have a look at the sort of the vesting schedule as well, this is very important. So currently we are 10th of February, and as I've said, there's 2 billion out of the 10 bill max supply, so 20% is currently in circulation. If you have a look, 2025, if you look at something like June or even July 2025, where the circulating supply is going to be 2.5 billion, so 500 million additional tokens will be released by July, which isn't too bad, right? That's around 25% dilution in terms of the additional tokens coming out. So it's not too bad, right? Because again, we don't know exactly when this alt season is going to come. I do think potentially it's going to come later. Originally we all thought it's going to be February, March, April. We still could see some pumps. But even if you were to hold this towards something like August, where it's going to be 800 million tokens going to be released, it's still not too bad if you are dollar cost averaging. So overall, not too bad in terms of the vesting schedule. I think we've seen a lot of projects with a lot of harsh vesting. Now, if you are thinking of getting into this towards the end of 2025, that is when you are going to be diluted pretty heavily. Now, I doubt anyone's going to be holding for 2026, but if you are, you are going to be diluted very, very heavily. So in terms of quarter two, early quarter three 2025, not too bad in terms of dilution, if this is accurate, and I believe it is accurate. You can also basically look on CryptoRank as well. where it will also show you the sort of supply. So you can see in June around 25%. And obviously, if you're looking at 2026, that is when you get a lot of the harsh token release. And as I was saying, token utility, of course, it is a layer one, so you will need the Plume token for all the gas fees. Also used for governance, so basically you can stake and vote on future sort of decisions influencing the token sort of updates, protocol updates. So again, governance is very important. Staking as well to help secure the network, and also for providing liquidity for the ecosystem. And I'm sure as they continue to develop, we will see more updates. So final thoughts on Plume. I think it does look very interesting. I think I can't see any major red flags apart from the fact that they have some early investors. But again, that is pretty much the case with a lot of these big projects. But they want to see their investments a success. And I think at the current price, it hasn't, reached its goals of what I think it's capable of. So overall, I think it's a good option if you want exposure to RWA narrative and also layer one. Layer ones are pretty much dead currently, so you want to buy these projects when they are undervalued. So overall, I think it could potentially be a good buy. Of course, never ever buy in at one price. Always DCA, guys, because at the end of the day, we do not know how much lower we are going to go, and the only real way to protect yourself is by DCing. So guys, hope you enjoyed this video and just my thoughts on Plume. Let me know your thoughts on Plume. Are you holding it? I currently don't hold this, but I might potentially look to gain some exposure if we see more of a dip. So guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future content. And as always, I will see you very soon for the next video.